What is an argument? What is an essence of one? And how is it built? An argument, as we all know, is just built on contradicting thoughts on both sides, where you have someone thinks something and someone thinks completely the opposite of that on the other side. Now, how can this argument completely go against your favor if you do this one action? My name is Muhammad Abdul Jawad, and for those who do not know me, I am 16-year-old teen striving for my inevitable success, inshallah. When you yell in an argument, when you yell in a debate, when you just constantly have a high voice and you're always yelling at that person you're talking to, well, you're not gonna go anywhere. In fact, if you do go anywhere, you're gonna go down because no one's gonna understand your topic. No one's gonna understand what you're saying, your stance, anything about you whatsoever when you're just constantly yelling. The game here is not just about having a high voice. The game of debate is knowing when to higher your voice and when to lower your voice. You don't always have to have a high voice. Yelling does not mean you're winning the argument. Yelling does not mean you're confident. Yelling means you're just disturbing. Yelling means, okay, how about this guy just leaves the room now? I'm done. I'm fed up from this guy. That's not what yelling is all about. Yelling is about emphasis. Yelling is about focus. You don't yell all the time because you're not emphasizing on everything. You're emphasizing on certain ideas. So let's say you're in a serious topic, you're talking about this or that. You get to a point where it's actually very serious, you can higher your voice. But what matters in debate and how your voice actually is an effective tool during debate is when you have those escalations in your voice tone. When you have, okay, when you go up, then you go down, then you go up, then you go down in your voice. That's how it should be. Not always up, not always down. You gotta have those escalations. You gotta have those voice changes in your tone. You can't have the same tone throughout the discussion, especially if the tone is loud, because that's disturbing. And your opponent and everyone listening will indeed be disturbed, and you're not gonna go anywhere. Please, guys, understand this, because I've seen many people like that. They think that when I yell, I get to look more confident, or my argument gets passed easily. No. When you yell, trust me, you're gonna be more disturbing. When you yell, you're gonna make the person hate even talking to you. It's just too much of a disturbance to have someone that's constantly yelling, you know what I mean? So my idea to you and my suggestion to you, what you must do is that when you're in an argument, try to understand your opponent's stance, because I have multiple videos talking about arguments and how you should actually win a debate. This is like one of them on the playlist, on the list. Try to understand what they're saying, agree with them, do not criticize, and most importantly, do not yell a lot. Because yelling too much is quite annoying. Like, okay, if you yell sometime, alright, that would be nice to add some emotion. But if you're yelling all the time, okay, that's too much, guys. So focus on that idea, focus on that point. Make sure that yelling is not the only method you resort to when you're arguing with someone. Because trust me, it's the least effective one, and it's in fact the most detrimental out of all. So stay away from yelling. Don't yell too much in argument because it's too disturbing. Personally speaking, if I go in an argument with someone and that person just yelling all the time, I'd be like, okay, see you later, bye. It is too much of a disturbance. It's too much of annoyance. It's too much of badness to have a person who's constantly yelling. Man, we're not going anywhere. If you're just yelling all the time, we're not gonna get anywhere. So see you later and bye. That's what I'm gonna do, to be honest. Understand your opponent. Do not criticize. Don't yell. I wish you all the best of luck and see you all at the top. Bye bye.